Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase is trademark, not to be used as a tradition of Ricky Bobby.
In professional sales, if you ain't first, you're last. The problem is, unlike professional sports, you never get to see how the pros actually do it. Well, you're in luck. You're going to get to hear it live.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Here we go!
This is the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with Vincent Polisi. Buckle your seatbelt and prepare to learn how to legally make six figures investing in real estate with no money, no credit check, and nothing but a computer and internet connection. Learn how you too can begin generating buyers and sellers for free today, and why you're only 2 calls away from making a $10,000 or more payday while never leaving the comfort of your home. And now, your host, the virtual real estate investor, Vincent Polisi.
What we have is a recorded call that is, without question, the longest call and longest close I've ever personally been involved with over the phone. This spans over 2 hours, starts off extremely hostile, as you'll see from the very beginning, and ends up with us getting the contract executed while on the phone. So I think you'll appreciate that. And it'll help give you some insight as to what it's like to be a professional salesperson. So I want to give you a little backstory here so this will make sense and you can then lead in and have an understanding of what we're doing. This particular property is a house that was selected by a buyer that I have that signed up for the Home Finder program, and they asked us to specifically contract on this particular property. Now, I don't normally ever do a lot of participation in down payments or any sort of revenue being split with sellers. I mean, in many cases, we'll do some JV deals with builders or other investors, but I don't generally get involved in that. But because we have, in this case, a buyer that has $100,000 liquid to work with, and I had already discussed with them the ideal scenario of them getting 3 months ahead on all the payments, this structure is a little bit different than our standard one, but you'll get an idea of how everything was put together so that it will make sense as we go through. Now, you're going to hear a variety of closing techniques throughout the entire process. You're going to see a complete professional sales presentation, every objection known to man thrown at me, and not to pat myself on my back because I didn't think I was going to pull this one off, to tell you the truth, and you'll see why as you get into this call. But it is without question a clinic on professional sales, building rapport, handling objections, trial closing, and closing. And there are many nuggets of knowledge that are contained herein. So I hope you enjoy it. What makes it even better is the fact that I had my one-on-one coaching clients and JV Mastermind group on one of our bridge calls. So they're actually on the phone with me listening in live, and you'll get to hear their reaction when this call is finally over.
And now, without further delay, it's unquestionably everyone's favorite segment of the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with Vincent Polisi. It's time for an extra large dose of total transparency. As you listen to Vincent live and in the trenches dodging bullets and grenades, while he's closing real buyers and sellers over the phone.
Hi, my name is Vincent. I was calling about the home that you have advertised on Craigslist.
Yes.
Did I catch you at a good time?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
Are you the owner? Are you the owner of the home?
Excuse me?
Are you the owner of the home?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Do you have any photographs?
They are on the Craigslist.
Okay. The ad I'm looking at doesn't have it. It has the map, but no photographs.
Okay, that's crazy. Okay, which one are you talking about? What's the advertisement says?
3-bedroom must-have, lovely 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths in Society Hill, Franklin Park, New Jersey.
Yes, I put in like many pictures. You know what? Maybe you can go back to another. You know what? Or I can update it.
Okay.
I apologize. I don't know what's happened because normally I've got a lot of pictures on it.
that's okay. That's fine. Is somebody living in the house now?
Yes, they're tenants right now, but they're gonna move out end of July. At the end of July.
Okay.
Which advertisement are you talking about? What was the date? I didn't renew it.
It says 3 days ago. It was updated last.
Okay, so it was the 27th? No. That would be yesterday.
Probably the 25th. Do you have more than one ad for the house?
No, I just renewed it on the yesterday, so...
Okay.
And there are pictures over there. You check it out. It's must have lovely 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, Society Hill 3.
Okay.
Do you see?
Well, I'm looking at an ad. I don't know if you have more than one ad, but the ad that I'm looking at does not have any photographs at all.
Okay,
Let's
this
get your
was
phone
like can you maybe refresh it?
Yeah, I did. Let me.
No, because maybe
You have it listed. You have it listed as a rental and for sale.
I haven't, I guess, listed for rental, but I guess maybe I can.
Okay.
What do you want to do? Please let me know.
No, that's fine. I'm a real estate investor. I've got some clients that are right there that are interested in the property, but the way that we put the deals together, they actually come in and purchase the property today utilizing a owner finance contract. Which from a financial perspective is a lot better than having a renter in there. And then they make payments generally for no more than 24 months and eventually refinance the house out and pay you off. And
Okay, but the owner, who's going to finance?
Well, it's you. You're already financing the house now. You got tenants in there. It's the same. Basically, it's the same thing.
Well, so how much do they have a down payment?
How much did you get from the tenants?
Well, but I'm not, there's a big difference between selling and renting.
Okay.
So if I'm going to sell for the same amount I own, I rent, there's something, not right. So they don't have any down payment?
I didn't say that. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. If you're going to
Okay, what I'm coming from, I need to have, at least a good down payment so I can refinance. What we could do, maybe refinance, maybe a year, but it has to be substantial down payment.
Okay, why do you have to refinance if you have tenants in it?
Excuse me?
Why do you need to refinance the property if you have tenants in there already?
Well, because I thought I could liquidate the property.
Okay, so you have equity in there and you want to pull cash out.
Yes.
Okay. And what's stopping you from doing that now if you have tenants in there and a track record of payments?
Stopping me from what? From
refinancing.
Nothing stopping me.
Okay.
That's what I advertise, and if somebody wants to buy it, that's fine. If somebody wants to rent it, that's fine. I mean, you're looking for a motivated seller?
Looking for a seller. I'm not looking for somebody in duress. No, if that's what you're asking me.
Okay, so you're looking for the seller, but so what these people that you have, what they can offer? What do they want to do?
They would purchase the property. They would purchase the property utilizing an owner finance contract. Okay.
Okay, so you're going to finance the sale? Because you said they're going to utilize your finance contract, yes?
An owner finance contract, yes, like a contract for deed.
Okay, so even if it would be owner finance, they have to have a down payment.
Correct, they do.
Okay, how good is the down payment? Could be.
Well, the way that I structure the deals is they pattern.
Hello?
Way that I structure. Yes, can you hear me?
Now it's better. Yes.
Okay.
The way that I structure the down payments, they pattern current FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guidelines based off of the loan amount, because that's what they're going to be required to have equity-wise when they refinance the property.
I do not understand what you're saying. How much would they have a down payment? I mean, there's a simple one down payment, and later on there are payments on the loan.
Understood. Under FHA guidelines right now, it's 3.5% of the purchase price. Okay?
So you want me to finance, owner finance, and have a regular, so why they don't gonna go to the regular mortgage? Because they can't probably qualify. That's why people go to the regular owners to owner finance, because they can't qualify. If they can't
Correct.
qualify, they usually need to put a substantial down payment. It's either or. You know that.
No, it's not.
Well, otherwise, it's a bad deal for me, because if I don't have a down payment and I have somebody holds my property, that's a bad deal for me, because they're going to probably pay much less than the rent, than the tenants that they pay rent.
How do you get that?
Because like how much I'm getting rent almost $2,000. Are they going to pay $2,000 a loan? More.
They're gonna pay more than a tenant is paying. Okay, they're gonna pay the entire amount that it would cost them to finance the property, plus taxes, plus insurance, plus HOA dues or CDDs or anything else. Okay, they're gonna take care of all maintenance and repairs. They're gonna get a home warranty on the property, and if there are any increases in taxes, insurance, or any other expenses, unlike the scenario that you're in right now.
Yes, but the 3% of down payment, it's very steep, because that's the lowest amount. So if the property it's 277, so the 3% would be what, 21,000 only? No, I'm sorry, 6,000. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Let me figure it out for you.
9,000. That's like nothing. For 9,000, you can buy a car, not a home.
Yeah, well, you got tenants in there that didn't even pay that much in there in the house.
Excuse me?
You have tenants in there that didn't even pay that much, and they are in the house. So I don't.
But they are tenants. They don't own the property. So you're saying that they can pay $2,200 plus taxes, plus insurance, and everything else? I'm sorry, $2,000.
Yeah.
So they can pay $2,000 a monthly rent, like they would be tenants, plus the tax. But the tax is not big. The tax is small amount, like around $500
a month, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Not maybe not even less. So plus the insurance, so it's like the down payment must be bigger than that. You pay that much for the car, not for the 10 times more of the value of the home,
Well, let's have a conversation real quick, okay? Because the down payment is where my funds come from when we execute the agreement with the people. So I'm trying to understand where you're going here, because you have tenants in the property that didn't pay a down payment. So you're obviously okay with somebody in the house making your payment.
Yeah, but the tenants don't own the property until.
And what does that mean to you? The tenants aren't taking care of the maintenance and repairs either. We're not talking about a deed conveyance, okay? I'm not talking about somebody getting your deed where you have to foreclose to get them out. We're talking about a scenario where they go in, just almost going to be identical to the situation with the tenant, but they're going to pay more, they're going to be responsible for more, and you're going to get full price for the property when they refinance. It's infinitely better than what you have now. Does that make sense?
Well, yes, but the down payment is still, the 3%, doesn't cut it, because that's, it's like, almost giving away something for,
How much of a down payment did you get from the tenants?
the tenants are only the tenants. If I'm gonna sign, we're gonna sign the contract that in a year they're gonna, get the refinance and they're gonna get the home. Yes.
Normally they're set up at 24 months to make sure they have plenty of time to get qualified, but most of them qualify in 12 months or less.
Because they have a probably bad credit, or that they can't get the loan.
No, they've got.
So I don't understand why they can't have a good amount of money for down payment. 3.5% is just the.
Why would they have to? Let me ask you a question. If that's what a bank will take, why should they have to pay more with you when a tenant doesn't do that?
Because if they would be good, they would go to the bank. They can't go to the bank because they have a bad credit and
no, they don't have
whatever.
Bad credit. They don't have bad credit. They're sitting on $100,000 in cash. They don't have bad credit. There's no issue with the credit. Okay. Just because somebody doesn't qualify for. Hold on, please. Just hold on. I'm trying to help you here. Okay. Let me finish so this makes sense. Just because somebody doesn't qualify for conventional mortgage financing does not automatically mean that they have bad credit. Right now, 90% of the U.S. population does not qualify for conventional mortgage financing.
But it's like if somebody really wants to have a home, they need to have a savings and they need to put a substantial down payment.
Says who? That's not what the government says. That's not what the banks say.
Yeah, but
nobody says that.
Well, if they, that's at least that's what I would like. If I'm gonna go agree with the financing, I would prefer to have a better down payment.
Okay, and what do you in your mind is a better down payment? How much is that?
Well, around 10%, at least minimum.
Okay.
Somebody
and do
was
I get the
offering
deed?
even like I wasn't sure, but they were offering like even $60,000 for down payment, but it was
why didn't you take it?
A little bit different financing.
Okay.
So what
why didn't you take
the maximum that they could put down payment?
I told it 3.5%. There's no reason for them to have to put down any more than that. It's what we're boiling down to here is you want more money, even though you got tenants in there that didn't pay you any more money.
Yeah, but I still own the property. I mean, that's the big.
You're still going to be on the deed to the property when we do this too. The deed's not changing hands.
But I want, now I have a tenant, but I can sell it anytime. If I'm going to get into the contract, I can sell it. I can't do anything.
Sure you can. You can sell it subject to the contract. That's a great deal for an investor when they already have an exit strategy lined up and they're getting cash flowing payments and somebody to handle all the maintenance and repairs. Way better than your tenant scenario.
Okay, you know what? Maybe we can talk about. I would need to see how you're going to structure this. So, I mean, what kind of contract do you have?
What kind would you prefer? Because I can provide you anything you need. I generally use a contract for deed.
Contract? What contract?
I generally use a contract for deed, but I can use anything that makes sense. We can use a land contract, installment sales contract. I can use a land trust. We can set it up any way that you want to set it up.
I mean, you couldn't use land contract. I mean, I don't know. You know what? If you can give me more information, if you can send me an email.
Let's before we get into the wasting time sending stuff back and forth, let's get to a point where we have some type of an agreement. Okay? If it doesn't sound to me like you understand the contract structures of owner financing, if you're saying that a land contract doesn't work, if a land contract doesn't work in your mind under an owner finance contract, what does work that would make you happy?
My understanding was with the owner financing, there are two contracts. One is the contract with the tenant, and another contract is for the sale of the property. That's
a lease purchase. That's not an owner finance contract.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lease purchase that is not an owner finance contract. That is a lease agreement for a tenant with a purchase agreement to purchase the property at some point in time in the future, and you still have a tenant in place who cannot take responsibility for maintenance and repairs or taxes or insurance or anything else.
No, because it's like double contract. They are tenants until they're going to become owners.
That's not an owner finance contract. That is a lease purchase.
They're going to be owners. It's just that they're going to refinance everything to material. That's what it is. So that's why we have a one contract, which means the contract that I'm going to service, and I'm going to I would be getting the payment, and I would refinance everything to material. That's the difference.
Okay. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. I'm a professional real estate investor, and I do this all day, every day. What you're referring to is not an owner finance contract. It is a lease purchase contract where they lease the property just like your current tenants. They're tenants. They have no other rights other than being a tenant, and they have a purchase contract for a future purchase. That's not an finance contract. That's a lease purchase contract.
Okay, so there are two contracts. One is a contract as a tenant, like they would be a landlord or and tenant contract, and another contract that would specify that they would purchase the home within 2 years.
Okay. I'm not sure what the issue is we're having. That is a lease purchase agreement. That is not an owner finance agreement. Does that make sense? Are you moving away from the phone or something? You keep fading in and out.
And they would be paying me whatever the amount it is. And in 2 years, they would, buy me out getting the mortgage. Is that what it is?
You've commingled some terms, but let me clarify it so it will make sense. I just did close one of these in Keyport on Saturday or on Sunday, okay? And it is an owner finance contract utilizing a contract for deed that is in compliance with the IRS's installment sales contract guidelines. It is not. I understand that. That's the problem that we're having. Under a contract for deed, they are contracting for the deed of the property. They don't get the deed today, so you hold that as a security interest. Okay? So you haven't lost your deed. You still retain possession of the deed. They're contracting with you for the $279 or whatever it is for the purchase price, and upon payment of that $279, you would then convey the deed to them. That's why it's called a contract for deed. Now, during that period of time that they're in the contract for deed, they are making the payments on the mortgage to you. They have to, by law, take care of the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, the repairs, etc.
Okay, so that will be the monthly payment, and you know what? That was the amount, but we've not financed. Really with the total amount to be financed. But anyhow, even if we say this would be the amount, so how much would be the monthly payment?
I'm not here to tell you that. I don't negotiate the payment or the price down. That's not my function in these. As an investor, I think you need to get full price for the house, and I think that you need to make sure that we have full coverage of the payments and taxes and insurance and everything else. So the question would be, it sounded to me like you had a substantial equity in the home. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So what I would normally do then is we would take the acquisition price that you're trying to sell it for and calculate what the cost would be under current FHA financing plus 1% for principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance premium. And we would normally then, when somebody has a ton of equity in the house, we would make the payment based on that. But I can tell you, based on your purchase price, I mean, they're probably $2,000 to $2,200 if I had to just pull a number out of thin air. That's kind of, I'm guessing, where all that's going to shake out to based on the purchase price and the fact that the taxes are so ridiculous in New Jersey. So what is the payment? Does $2,200 cover everything?
No. No. I mean, right now I'm getting $2,000.
Okay. All right.
Okay, and that doesn't cover, all other payments.
What are the other payments?
So, if they would call, I mean, I mean.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you. What are the other payments? You said the taxes are $500.
The taxes, insurance, association. Association is like $250.
It's $250 a month. What kind of amenities do you have?
Well, that's what they have. They have a swimming pool, tennis court, playground.
Okay, gotcha.
It's New Jersey.
Okay. All right, so $500. Okay, all right. I see where your numbers are off then. Okay, so we got $500 in taxes. We got $250 for the HOA. They're going to pick up their own insurance, but that's probably not more than $30 a month or $40 a month. All right, and then so that what is that? $750, $780, right there. So, what are you thinking? $2,500?
$2,500. No.
What are you laughing at me for? You're only getting $2,000 now and eating all this stuff out of the $2,000.
It would have to be, yes, but I have to make some money too. I mean, we've put in a lot of money into the down payment of the home and everything, so we need to get some money out of it too.
Okay, but you're not doing that now, right? On a deal that you put together.
Why? Why am I not doing this right now?
Because you're only getting $2,000 a month.
Well, but I still have a home and equity and everything. I know you're saying you're going to convey it, but for just a measly $9,000, that's I need to have a substantial down payment, not the $9,000.
Okay, and what is the substantial down payment?
Well, I don't know, at least, 20, 30%, 35%. If they want to keep the home.
How do we go from 10% to 35%?
Well, people want to. If people make good money, they make good cash, and they wanted to have that, but they can't prove it. They can't show it. There are people who make a lot of cash and they can't show it. So they have a good money for down payment. They can't qualify for loan, but they still, but they wanted to have a property.
Okay. That doesn't mean they want to be raped.
I'm not stealing this money from them. It's going to account for the down payment. So it's going to be subtracted from the amount they're going to pay.
I understand how it works. But nobody's going to do that because they don't have to. It's ridiculous.
Why would it be ridiculous? When people go and buy their homes, they usually have a substantial amount of money.
No, they don't. Listen, I spent 12 years in mortgage banking. Please don't preach to me about what people do when they go to get a mortgage, okay? I've done thousands of them. All right? I'm trying to help you here, and you're not saying anything that makes any sense.
I don't know. At least what we did, we put in a substantial amount of money, and that's how we got the homes.
Well, you made a mistake. You made a mistake, and that's why you're in the situation that you're in right now, because you made a bad decision and you made a mistake and you put equity into a property. You don't do that, okay? Now you're in a scenario where you're trying to get the equity out and you can't This is the way they've got the lending guidelines set up, and you need cash, which I understand, but you're now wanting somebody else to pay for the mistake that you made.
I didn't make any mistake. I mean...
Yeah, you did. You absolutely did.
No, that's...
You've got money. You have money generating a negative rate of return right now. It's 100% at risk because it's in equity. Okay?
No, I don't have any negative amount. I mean...
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If any money that is in that property as equity is generating a negative rate of return.
Why?
Okay? It's 100% at risk of complete forfeiture and loss. It's not liquid. You don't have any financial ability to grab that money quickly and do something else with it.
And would I be able to have this liquidity if I'm going to get this measly $9,000 as a down payment?
Well, you don't get the $9,000. You don't get the $9,000 as a down payment.
That's going to help you?
You don't get the $9,000 as a down payment. I don't know why you're criticizing me for what I'm trying to put together, which is 10 times better than what you put together.
I've never even heard about, like $9,000 as a down payment, especially if it's seller financing. If it's a standard mortgage, yes, they have to have a strong backup with the strong sources of the income, the savings, and amounts of money and everything. I mean, we are not talking about that. How strong is their credit? How good credit?
How many owner finance deals have you ever done?
You know that, so don't ask me.
Zero. You've done zero, but you're going to try to school me on how owner finance deals are done.
You because I don't know, so I am not schooling you. I know that certain things, but I'm not schooling you because apparently you know much more than I do.
Okay, I'm trying to help you put something together here that can make sense, but what we're not going to do is we're not going to play this. We're going to rate the people because you feel like you're in some sort of superior position because you think
I'm not in a superior position, but I don't think $9,000 it's enough. If that's a standard minimum, that's a minimum for FHA, and if I don't want to go to minimum. I mean, is that the problem? They don't have the enough money for down payment?
No, I never listen to. Okay, if you'll do me a favor, and I'm not trying to be ugly, I really am not. I'm trying to help you here. But if you'll let me finish what I'm saying and listen to what I'm saying, and stop focusing on everything that you want and try to put together a win-win, there's a way that potentially we can meet in the middle and put together a deal that makes sense.
Okay.
Now, if that's not what you're interested in, that's totally okay. And we can part ways right now, and I appreciate your time, and I'm not trying to be ugly, but here's the scenario. Okay, so this will make sense. They don't have bad credit.
They don't have what?
They don't have bad credit.
Mm-hmm.
These are two executives. Okay, they don't have bad credit, but just because somebody has perfect credit doesn't mean that they qualify for conventional mortgage financing for a variety of reasons. Okay. Now, just because they're in a scenario where they don't qualify for conventional financing does not mean that they feel like they have to overpay more than is necessary because people tend to want to take advantage of that.
More than 3.5% doesn't mean overpay. That's a minimum. That's just minimum that people have to pay when they backed up, all the paperwork. If it comes to income and everything. So if somebody don't have that, good paper trail, they have to put it up someplace like a down payment.
Mm-hmm. But you keep talking about the down payment. I keep trying to tell you the down payment is where I make my money. That's how I get paid.
Ah, okay. So that's not a good start. Okay. Now I understand.
So what is it that if you have somebody in the property at $2,000 a month and you're eating $780 between taxes, insurance, and HOA dues out of that $2,000, so you're in theory netting $1,220 a month on the amount of cash that you have in the property, less any maintenance and repairs, right? So how is it if I come in with $2,500 for a payment and agree to full price for the property within the time frame where you get all your money back out? How is that a bad deal?
Well, that was the amount for the cash out, but not for the finance, owner financing.
Okay, so you want a higher price. And I'm okay with that. I'm not going to argue with you on that. If you're going to have the mitigated risk of somebody in the property for a period of time and inability to access your equity, I think you need to get full fair market value. Full price. No discount. We're finally in agreement. Totally agree with you. Not going to argue with you on that one. So if 300,000 is the number, I don't have any issue with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what. I mean, and I explain this to people. I explain this to buyers when we have this conversation because they'll see a price, and then when we go to contract on the property, well, wait, it was advertised at $279, and you know what, I understand that, but that's the cash today to walk away price. That's not for you to carry the paper for 2 more years, and I got that. So what is it that you would look for as a purchase price that you'd like to sell it for?
Okay. Well, now you're. I like how you talk. Okay, so for example, if I could say 320, would that be? We could work out something, a deal.
Yeah. Done.
Okay, so now, how about the down payment? What would be the down payment? Can you just tell me? No, out of the 320, is it still going to be 3.5%?
I can make them put down more and split it with you if that's what you want. Because you seem like you're gonna keep grinding away on this until you get some cash up front, even though it's what you got on the tenants. That's fine. Well, how about what if we did this? What if we make them come in with 5% down at $16,000? You get 8, I get 8, and then you get the full payment coverage and taxes and insurance and all that stuff.
One second.
Is that fair?
320. 0.035. Okay, so how much you're saying I could get the down payment?
Well, what I'm saying is if I made them put up 5% of the 320, that's $16,000. And I split that with you, so you get $8,000. I get the other $8,000. You get full payment coverage at $2,500.
Okay, but that would mean that I would get to 5%. So it would be I would be getting 2.5%. Yes.
In cash, yes. But I'm going to increase the 320 by 2.5% more so that you net the 320. So let me give you an example. Hang on. Let me just give you a real number so this makes sense.
Okay, So I would still get the 320 at the signing of the mortgage, you're saying, yes?
Correct. That's correct. You would cash out for that amount.
Okay. So now you're saying I would be getting 8 only. But I'm still getting less than 9.
Huh?
Oh, my God.
Well, you weren't getting the 9 anyway. That was all for me. I'm trying to be halfway in the middle to at least get cash in your hand.
So it's all for you. So that means that I wouldn't even have any down payment? That's how would you structure?
Yeah, 8,000.
I mean,
you're going to get 8.
Are there any people who would go, like without down payment? I mean, there must be
There must be what?
At least I was hoping for, if not, at least like, $15,000 or something like that. I mean, come on. I mean, if they make good money, aren't they supposed to have at least, $20,000-$40,000?
No.
Oh my God.
The banks don't
They're
require
spenders, huh?
The government doesn't require it. Nobody requires that. The only person who requires that is
No, it's not about requirements. They're just spenders. I mean, they don't, I guess maybe they don't know how to save.
Okay, you're not listening to what I'm saying. What they have and what they're willing to pay are 2 different conversations. We've documented that they have over $100,000 in cash, okay? That doesn't mean they're going to give it to you. Okay, we're trying to put together a win-win deal for everybody. So
if they have $100,000 in cash, how come I can get only, I don't know what you said, 8? I mean, this is the main I mean, this is a beautiful place. You have to see it. Stainless steel appliances, completely remodeled with new hardwood floors, bathrooms, all porcelain tiles.
Do you qualify for a mortgage right now yourself?
I am trying to get one.
Okay. So what does that mean, that you don't qualify?
No, I'm trying. I'm working on it.
Okay. Because what I would suggest, if cash is the issue, is that you just simply cash out refinance the property. That way you have the cash, they're paying the mortgage, you're still going to get $8,000 from me, plus you're going to get $2,500, so you're ahead of the game every which way over and above what you've got presently.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, because I didn't understand that what you said.
Okay. What I was saying was that it sounds, and I'm not trying to be condescending or ugly, so please don't take it that way. It sounds to me as if, as aggressive as you're being with this thing with the down payment, like you need cash for some reason, which is fine. I don't have any issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
if that's the case, then there's more than one way to skin a cat, and we can come in a form of it can come from some of the down payment if you have the ability to property. That can happen also, and you can pull cash out. Let me ask you a question, and I'm trying to help you here. I'm not trying to get into your personal business, but you need cash right now for what? There's something really important to you that you're trying to accomplish. What is that?
Well, I'm trying to pull cash, to tell you the truth, because my ex is sitting on the mortgage, and I need to get him out of the mortgage.
Got it.
So,
okay.
Of my own home.
And how come that can't come out of the equity?
Excuse me?
Why is it that cannot come out of the equity of the property?
What, the loan?
The amount that you have to pay off the ex-husband or whoever it is.
I don't have to pay him anything. I just need to take another mortgage. And I'm trying to get one, but because I am, I don't have a regular paycheck, it's a different story for me.
Ah, okay.
You're a good investor. You always wanted to work it out, trying to figure out what other party needs. That's a good sign.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're very creative and very smart.
I appreciate that. That's how I make a living. So if you can do me a favor, you can hang up on me at any point in time, but if you can do me a favor and if you can explain to me exactly where we're at, I may be able to come up with something that can make sense for you that would solve all these problems.
Quick question. What kind of assurance would I have that they're going to be paying the monthly fees or monthly dues mortgage?
I will have them. I'm going to have them pay 3 months in advance, okay, and then pay monthly after that, so you're always 90 days ahead.
Okay, and so you have a structured monthly. You are going to be creating this monthly payment that they're going to be sending out to me, yes?
When you say creating it, it's going to be on the contract, and they're going to pay you every single month. But what I'm going to have them do is I'm going to have them pay 3 months in advance.
Okay, and can you tell me what would happen if they forfeit the payment, or they're late? What's going to happen?
If they default?
Yes.
We move directly into the eviction process because they breached the contract at that point, and the way my contract.
Okay, so if there's going to be like eviction, that means they would have to be the tenants at that point.
Well, you're very smart, and you would be accurate if it were not for the conversion clause that I have in the contract that we've got, which upon a breach or a default converts the contract from the owner finance agreement to a straight tenancy agreement at that point, so we can move directly into the eviction process, and we don't have to go through the judicial foreclosure process.
That's very smart. That's very smart. You're very good. You're very smart. Where are you from?
A long time.
Where are you from?
Florida. Florida.
Okay. So the people from Florida were going to move in over here to New Jersey?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The people that would be moving in, they're right there in what is it, Somerset?
Yes,
right
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're right there in Somerset.
How did they find you from Florida? I guess on the internet?
Yeah, I'll send you links to the websites and all that, and you can see all the properties that we've got where I'm getting, I've contracted with hundreds of sellers, and I'm not giving them any of the down payments, so count yourself lucky. You're a very good negotiator. But yeah, no, they found me on the internet.
Okay. No, I'm sure. What's your name?
It's Vincent, Vincent.
Okay, I'm Anita. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So you need to get rid of the husband or the ex-husband?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any equity, but he's just bugging me, and he needs to be out of the loan that we took it before, and that's why my issue was to hopefully to get some cash out of it so I can, get the loan and get him, out of the game.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. Let me ask you this. You mentioned that you don't have conventional paycheck for documentation for income. Are you self-employed or are you
Yes, self-employed,
getting strictly cash? Okay. And are you writing everything off? Is that what the issue is?
Yes, right.
Okay. So you've got a debt-to-income ratio problem, and that's why you're not going to be able to. But I'm confused here. You're trying to refinance it to get him off of the mortgage note. Is that right?
Get him out of the mortgage note, yes.
Okay. And then what does that do for him at that point?
At least for a while, he won't bug me. That's not going to give him, I mean, maybe he can get a loan or maybe he can get the mortgage or whatever, but at least for a moment, I'll breathe peacefully without him hanging on my neck.
Is he trying to buy another house right now?
I don't know. What he wanted to is to try to get me. I don't know why he's such a vicious man, but he hasn't mentioned anything about getting anything. I don't know. Maybe,
okay,
but he hasn't mentioned anything.
So getting off the note does what, as long as the mortgage is being paid and it's not destroying his credit?
No, because the mortgage I've been paying, diligently, so it's not destroying it. Absolutely.
But he's just harassing you to refinance?
He's just what?
Normally, it sounds like he's just harassing you to refinance.
Yes. Not only about that, but that's one of them.
Because he misses you.
Oh, yes. He was cheating me, and while I was working 16 hours a day, he was cheating me and, all that stuff. So it does,
He's a man. He's a man. What'd you expect?
Well, man without the integrity. Man with the integrity can do things differently.
I agree. I'm just kidding. Okay, so let me explain this to you. Generally speaking,
yes.
and I'm just telling from years of experience, generally speaking, the only reason that somebody would be heckling you to get them off the note is if they're trying to obtain other financing for something else, a house, a car, God only knows what, and he too has an issue with the debt-to-income ratio, or he potentially could, because of the outstanding note on this house that they're calculating against him, okay? That would normally be the only reason that he would even be bugging you, unless he's just a wacko and just enjoys turmoil.
He is a little wacko. He became a wacko. But that's another point. I guess his nastiness and viciousness goes beyond anything, but that's behind the point. Quick question, because I was thinking, Vince, can you tell me if what would be you're saying they're gonna pay taxes, insurance, association, whatever, on top of that $2,000. I would need to still make sure that they're making the payment, because I don't want to be in a default. So
well, they're going to make the payment. The way it works is this: you guys will get into what's called a quid pro quo agreement, where
what is it? I'm sorry, slow down. Quick what?
It's called quid pro quo. It's called a quid pro quo agreement. Okay, and what that means is it's an even exchange between the two of you. They're going to provide you a payment that you're then going to make to the mortgage company, and you're going to provide them proof that the mortgage is current every month, so they don't have to worry about a knock on the door that the payment hasn't been made and they're being foreclosed on.
Yes,
Okay,
of
so
course.
they're not going to make the mortgage payment to the mortgage company. They're going to make it to you.
Okay, so the 2,000, we're going to pay 2,000 rent plus the 500 tax and plus the association fee, and they're going to take insurance on their own. That's what you're saying?
Well, I thought we were at $2,500 all in, with them getting their own insurance as well on the side.
No, that was, because...
Let me ask you this. What's the payment on the mortgage that you're making?
I have a very good rate. I got a very good rate, but I'm paying... 1 second. Around $1,400.
Wow. Okay. How much equity do you have?
A lot of equity.
How can you have a lot of equity if your payments on that? Do you have a short-term, like a 10-year note or something?
Yes, because it's, I didn't want to take a loan, so.
That's fine.
A lot of, we always try to pay it off and take as minimum amount of years as possible.
Okay. Well, that's something else that you got to factor in then, because you're getting amortization at an accelerated rate out of the payment, which is additional cash to you that we haven't even factored in here yet. All right, but at that point, basically, so you're, don't take this the wrong way, but you're paying these tenants to stay in your house right now. You realize that?
I'm paying what? I'm sorry.
You're paying the tenants to stay in the house that you have currently. You're paying them to stay in your house if those numbers you gave me are accurate, because if your payment's $1,400 and you got $500 in taxes, that's $1,900. Or is in the $1,400, is that including escrow?
No. The escrow is separate.
All right. Well, that's $21.50, roughly $21.80 would be your monthly outgo, and you're only collecting $2,000. So you're paying them $180 every month to stay there, plus taking care of the house for them. Does that make sense? So, you're having to write a check to these people to stay there every month right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what do you think we can do with this, if that's an option? What do you think?
Well, if I don't want to be the Grim Reaper here, but if you don't have documented income or sufficient income, you're not going to be able to refinance the property. Okay, and what you're probably doing is what I and every other self-employed individual do, which is maximize tax deductions so that you can minimize taxable income. Even though you have the money coming in, you're writing it down to the point that on paper, which is what the banks are looking at from the IRS, you don't show that you can afford what it is that you're trying to do. Do you have another? How many other houses do you have?
A couple.
You got a couple other ones?
I see.
Okay. Well, here's the other thing. You know what? I don't know where your debt-to-income ratio is presently, but here is what the lenders are doing as it relates to the income payments that you're getting, and I'm going to show you how to overcome that on all of the properties if you'll follow what I'm going to show you how to do. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The way they calculate what they're going to give you credit for, and I assume all these payments are going to show on the tax return on, I guess I don't know if it's on the schedule C or schedule E or how you're filing, but the income that's coming in for the properties, they're only going to generally give you 75% credit for. So if you're really getting $1,000 a month, they're only going to give you credit for $750. So that's a pretty big hit off the top of actual income. Okay, and the reason that they do it that way is because they know as a landlord, you have maintenance and repair expenses that they can't always see and calculate, and so they hedge against. They're putting in a 25% reserve amount of the total rental amount for standard operating expenses and maintenance and repairs. Okay.
Yes.
When you do the what I'm suggesting here, which is the contract for deed, you have a bona fide sale, and because of the IRS regulations which require the buyer to assume all responsibility for the house as it relates to taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs, all of a sudden what's happened is that shortfall that you're not getting credit for, the 25%, you automatically get credit for. So as an example, on a $2,500 payment, the way I'm structuring it, you would get credit for all $2,500 as income to offset your debt-to-income ratio. Because there is no maintenance and reserve.
Okay, so one second. So the $2,500, would that, in that amount?
I'm talking about for your refinance, for you to be able to get the ex-husband out of the way.
Okay, so this $2,500 would be coming. What would it be?
Okay, what I'm saying here, let's, and I realize this is kind of complex, but you're trying to get a refinance right now to get the ex-husband out of the way, right? Okay. And according to what you told me, the issue is debt-to-income ratio because you're self-employed.
Yes, right.
Okay. And as an example, if we took these, okay, like right now you're getting $2,000 a month, they're only going to give you credit on that $2,000 for...
Okay, so if they were paying me $2,500, I would get the credit out of $2,500. That's what you're saying?
For your debt-to-income ratio with the lender that you're trying to refinance with, yes, that is correct.
Okay, right now, because they're going to pay me more.
Well, it's not because they're paying you more. It's because of the type of contract that you're in that absolve the maintenance and repair expense. So there's no reason for a lender to calculate the operating expense and maintenance and repair expense against your debt-to-income ratio on that income because you don't have those expenses anymore. You're collecting interest payments on a note.
Okay, so wait a minute. So quick question. The $2,500, that will be separate from the taxes and the association fees?
Well, no, because now if we do all that, now we're up to, what is that, $3,250?
Okay, so you're saying this. Okay, so 1 second. So can we include the association fee?
In what way?
Like, can we, on the $2,500, can we put the association fee?
On top of the $2,500 to make it $2,750? And if we can do that, are you ready to go?
Okay, and quick question. So if that would be
wait, back up. Hold on, back up. If we can do that, are you ready to get this thing moving forward today?
Perhaps. Just let me answer me. So if they're going to pay $2,750, is that going to count as the monthly? What would come out of the main number, the $320? What would be coming out as a payment? It would be subtracted.
Okay, their number would not be $320 because I have to factor in the amount that I'm getting for the down payment, so you can net $320. Okay, so their number is going to be $328,205. Okay, and then out of that, we're going to charge 5% down to get them the $16,000 down payment. $8,000 of which I'm going to collect, $8,000 of which you're going to get. Okay, in cash.
Yeah, but.
And then what that does is when they close. Hold on.
But I need more than $8,000. Come on, Vince. Can you get me at least 15? You know, I mean, come on.
No,
They should have a, you know, like you mentioned yourself, they have a cash. So what's the problem with putting at least a stinky $15,000?
Well, because it's not $15,000. It would have to be more than this. You're talking about now $30,000. Because I have to make money here too.
Of course,
this isn't
of
a
course you do.
philanthropy.
So can you structure the deal somehow so I can get at least 15,000? I mean, it's a, you know.
No.
I've tried hard with this property.
You're going
believe
too
me.
far. You're going too far because you're going too far. You're not creating a win-win deal here. You're creating a win for you deal that gets you everything that you want and has them overpaying, and that's not a good deal for them.
I'm not. Okay, so let me ask you. So let's hold on. So let's back up. Okay, let me see. So out of this, so from the if they're gonna pay this $27.50 example, how much out of this money is gonna come down from the total amount of the money that they're gonna have to pay less at the at the end of the term?
Well, that's the best part.
Excuse me?
I said that's the best part.
Yes. Why? For me or for
Zero.
you? Or for them?
No, for you. No, for you.
Okay.
That's the best part. There's not going to be any principal balance. None.
So they're still going to pay $320 at the end of the 2 years?
Correct.
Are you sure? Okay, I like you more and more.
I haven't started drinking.
You're a good man.
I haven't started drinking wine yet, so I'm pretty sure.
No, I mean, okay. Okay, so they're gonna. So actually, it's gonna be. I haven't heard about that deal, but anyhow, they're gonna pay $27.50. That's gonna include. The payment for the taxes, association dues, and my stuff, and they're gonna take care of the insurance. And
Correct.
at the end, the end of the term, they're gonna still pay $320. Yes.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me hold on. I told you a lie. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I screwed up here. They're paying $320, but you would have already gotten $8,000 in cash up front. So the net amount to you at their closing would be $312 less whatever your closing costs are. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So yes, they're paying $320, but you would have already collected $8,000 up front. I want to be honest and clear and transparent.
Yes, of course.
Yes, they're paying $320, but you already have a credit of $8,000 in cash up front.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think. Okay, and how can you? Okay, I think it can be okay. Can you tell me how are you going to structure? Is it going to be one contract, or if they're going to pay me the $27.50, how that's going to written? What is it going to be? Is it going to be a mortgage payment, or how is that
Yes.
going to?
Yeah, they're going to pay you $27.50 for a mortgage payment.
Mm-hmm. And so, what's the interest? Like, if I'm going to show to my accountant, what would be the interest that I'm going to get, or whatever investment?
It's called rape.
Excuse me?
That's what's happening. It's called rape. You're getting a rape percentage. Okay, that's what's happening here. The answer to your question is I have no idea. I don't know. I don't put interest rates on the contracts. Normally, what happens in 9 out of 10 cases is the buyers are strictly taking over the existing the sellers have in place. Okay, so they typically just absorb the interest rates that the sellers already have. In your case, where you've got significant equity in here, I mean, we'd have to back into it to figure out what the rate is, but it doesn't matter because we can sit here and play this, what rate am I getting and all this kind of stuff, but we can't keep doing that if you're going to say, oh, I need $27.50 and I need $8,000. I can't play that game with you, okay? So it's
No, I don't want to play any game. I'm just asking because I just thought about it.
I would have to back into it to figure out what it is, broken down based on the amortization and all that. But I don't know what it is at present.
Okay. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so what do you think?
I think I'm waiting on you to finally, fish or cut bait and let's get this thing moving forward. That's what I think.
Okay, so...
Are you in front of a computer?
Yes.
Okay, type this in.
Okay, hold on a second. At the Google or what should I type it in?
Yeah, just in the address bar up top.
Okay.
All right. It's owner, finance, .it / or you can just go to the owner finance.
Hold on. I can't hear you. Owner finance. Okay. What?
Owner finance
.it.
IT. IT. Yep. And then just click enter.
Okay.
And then right above the girl's head, there is a thing that says sign up. Just click that.
1 second. Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
All right. Did you click the sign up button?
Yeah.
Okay. That'll take you to a very simple, I think it should be one page. They may have stretched it to non-exclusive option agreement. Okay? And what we're going to do here, if you fill out your name and email address, and we'll go down and I'm going to go through the contract with you line by line so that we can get on the same page. We're going to identify your name as the seller, the property address of the property, the price at the $320 amount that you want to net, the monthly payment of $27.50, and then we're going to click the state of New Jersey and number 7. And then once I have this, then I will coordinate a showing of the property. I guess we have to coordinate with you and the tenants to get them out there.
Yes, of course. When do they want to move in?
They can move in anytime. They can move in to next week. They can move in next month. It doesn't matter. So it's not a duress situation.
Okay, because the tenant says till the end of July. I have a contract.
That's fine.
With them. I don't know. I can tell them if they could do it earlier, but
Well, there's no reason for that because you don't want to lose any money. You'd be losing. Well, I guess not based on the fact that you're not making as much on them. But if there's no reason to try to rush them out if they have a contract.
1 second. Can you at least make me the 12,000? I really need the money. Come on.
I can't do it. I've already given up way too much.
Come on, it's not that much. Really.
Apparently it is because you keep asking for it. If it's not that much, why are you worried about it?
So why they have enough money and they can't even spare a few thousand?
All right, listen, I can't go through. I cannot do this with you again. Okay, it's fish or cut bait. You want to do this or you don't, and if you don't, that's fine. I wish you the best, but I got to go. Okay. I can't keep going back and forth. Tap dancing has got to stop at some point.
Okay, so listen, let's make it 10,000 to be clear, okay? Can you make it 10,000? I really need money. Then
If it's not a lot of money, why do you keep trying to go up and get more money?
Because it means, I need to have it. I need to somehow make my ex out of my loan, so that's why.
But that's not going to get your ex out of the loan. I don't know why you keep telling me that. What is it? Why don't you just be honest with me and tell me what it is you did the money for? This is not about the ex.
I need to get another mortgage, and I need to have more down payment so I can apply less.
Okay. Anita, understand who you're talking to, okay? That double-speak does not work with me, right? There is no down payment on a refinance. There's no down payment on a refinance. You just got done saying that you had a ton of equity.
No,
so
I have...
There's a lie somewhere.
Listen, I need to get this loan closed, and I need to get another loan. Do you understand? I can't get the refinance out of this loan. I need to get another loan.
Okay.
I've tried.
Another loan, which is the refinance. Is that right?
Well, another loan doesn't matter whichever you call it, but it doesn't matter. I can't.
On this house or a different house?
On different house. On my home.
Well, you're not going to bring cash to the table on an equity position refinance. You'd be looking to take cash out of the property, not.
No, I'm gonna
add more cash.
I can only, no, it's not about the cash, it's about getting less money for the loan. I won't have to apply for that, I will apply for less amount.
That's totally idiotic, and I don't advise that you do that.
Well, I have no other choice. I have to do something to get him out of it.
Because why? The cops don't come get you if you can't refinance a loan.
What happened?
I said the police don't come lock you up if you can't refinance a loan.
No, but I don't want to move out of my home. That's all.
Okay. Well, let's assume we don't do this. Then what are you doing then? What's the alternative?
Well, I have to look for another, non-standard banks and companies, and they take more interest, more money for down payments, etc., etc.
All right. And
we're going to charge more. So
exactly like you were just trying to treat these people.
No, I mean they right now you say standard percentage maybe 4.5. I'm gonna have to pay for the loan. I'm gonna have to pay for the loan, maybe 5, maybe around 6% or so. It's a big difference.
Not really. What's the loan amount?
I'm gonna need like $250. I'm sorry, not $250, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna need around $300.
Okay, let's back up. How much do you owe in the house presently?
$365.
Oh, good gosh. $365?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have it listed for $279?
That's a different home.
What's a different home?
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I was talking about my home. It's okay.
Okay, hold on. You're trying to refinance your home that you live in?
Yes.
Okay. And you owe $365, and what's the value of that home?
Around, I think maybe 400 or so. 385.
$385 to $400?
Yeah.
Okay, is that the one that the husband's on, or is it the investment property?
No, that's the one.
That's the one. Okay. Okay. There's no way the LTV works on that.
Okay, quick question. Is this lease option, is the whole contract, or this is the preliminary, or what is this?
this is a preliminary between you and I right now, just so that we can identify and get documented the price that you need, the payment that you need, so that you and I can have a meeting of the minds, and there will be no issues going forward about he said this, she said that, I thought I was getting paid this, whatever. We're clear right now today, so that, because if there's going to be a problem, it's going to be about the money. I don't want there to be any problems, okay? You and I have had enough problems here over the last 45 minutes. We don't need any more problems. So what we need to do is get a clear meeting of the minds as far as numbers are concerned. Once that happens, then the other purpose of that agreement is so that I am not illegally brokering without a license, because I am not a realtor, okay? And then once that's done, this is just a simple non-exclusive option agreement. If it doesn't stop you from selling, renting, doing anything that you're already doing, if you get a contract before I get these people to the table and they put their cash up, okay? And then at that point, I will get them out to the property based on the numbers that we've agreed upon.
Mm-hmm.
They come see the house, and if they like the house and they want to proceed at that point, then I put together the contract. We get good funds in hand, and then we move forward with them based on the occupancy date that you've identified. But no, that's not a tenancy agreement or anything. That's strictly an agreement between you and I that says, hey, this is the price I want, this is the payment I want, and you have a legal right to be involved in this transaction based on these numbers and these numbers only. Not a realtor.
So what's going to happen if somebody's not going to like something? It's voided, or what's going to happen?
If who doesn't like what?
Like, for example, if the future buyers, they say, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that, whatever. So what's going to happen?
You mean before they move in?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's the case, if they come and they see the house and it's not, he's the one that provided the information on the ad to me, okay? So they already know all the information on the property. The problem that I think we have is that we can't see the photographs. So when they come out and they see the house, 9 times out of 10, what happens is, because the property has been provided, by the buyer, not by me. I didn't just call you out.
Mm-hmm.
They found your ad and said, yeah, that sounds good. It's in the right location. Everything sounds legit.
Mm-hmm.
Then 9 times out of 10, they move forward with a contract immediately. About 1 time out of 10, there's something that wasn't identified that they couldn't see, didn't know. For some reason, it doesn't work. And then I have to go get them another house. But then at that point, what we would do is just remarket the property, because I've got an entire pool of buyers right now that are looking for houses in New Jersey. So if they don't work, then we simply work to get somebody else in there that does based on those numbers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so where would the okay, so what would it say, for example, because I don't understand, we would have because it says a $1 payment of the consideration of the...
That's for the option contract. So it's legal and binding between you and I. In order for a contract to be, if you don't understand contract law, in order for a contract to be legal and binding, there has to be good and valuable consideration. So we're identifying $1 as good and valuable consideration that I'm paying to you for the option to sell the property at the price that you tell me and the payment that you're giving me.
Okay, but what about other issues like, they're going to rent and, clauses, if they're not going to, there will be some problems, they have to move out, if, the monthly rent and after the year or 2 years they can, they would refinance. Where would that state,
I'm not following you. Let's take it one step at a time. What's the first question?
Okay, for example, where would that information state about that? They're gonna pay monthly rent, and if if they're gonna default, they're gonna have to, it's gonna turn as a regular tenant, and where that they're gonna refinance after year to up to 2 years, and like what would that?
That's all going to be in the contract directly between you and the buyer when they decide to move forward.
Excuse me, when?
That would all be in the contract directly between you and the buyer when they go see the house and they decide to move forward. All that will be identified in the contract at that point. Right now, we're not to that point yet. We got to take it one step at a time.
Yeah, but why wouldn't we already get everything going? I don't understand.
Get everything what going?
Because right now, right now, I would only, agree that the predetermined price, and I don't understand, like appraised value at the time of takeout or refinance with a floor of.
That's a separate option. You don't need to mess with that. You just need to put in the $320,000 number in the static price.
What about if, for example, the market is going up, but what about if the house would appraise a little bit lower? What would happen?
Well, they won't be able to get financing because the house doesn't appraise.
Okay. And what would happen if they want, for example? Would they have an option to stay, or they would leave, or what would happen?
If what happened?
If, for example, they won't be able to get the finance, if, for example, their house wouldn't appraise a couple years later.
Sure.
So what happened? I'm trying to figure out all the answers, so I won't be surprised later on.
I'm not upset at all. You're asking very good, very well thought out questions, so I don't have any issue with that. What happens at that point, and this is a possibility because I don't control the value of the property, neither do you, and the prices or the value is going to do one of three things. It's going to go up, down, or stay the same. The question is which one, and at what point in time when they're qualified for financing, what's the value at that point? So if the home does not appraise, then the options that you have are this at that point. If you have the equity position and you want out because it gets you some additional cash or it gets you out from underneath the note, then you can lower the price at that point to allow them the ability to close, if it makes sense. If you have the equity and or cash and that makes sense, which generally it doesn't, but if that would be the case, then you could use a combination of equity and cash to get out from the deal. Alternatively, you can.
So I'm sorry. So how would I be able to get out of the deal if, for example, they wouldn't be able to get the mortgage?
I'm talking about so that you'd be able to close. I'm talking about getting out of the deal that you're in right now with a house that's underwater. I'm talking about getting out of the deal with them. I'm talking about getting out of the deal on a property that's upside down. And that only happens with a mortgage closing or somebody paying you all cash, okay? So let me run this past you again so it makes sense.
Yeah, because I don't understand. So one option would be, for example, that they I lower the price so they could close it, and another option would be what?
Okay. You could lower the price so they can close. You can utilize cash and equity so they can close. They can bring in additional cash so they can close. Or alternatively, you can just extend out the contract and let them continue making payments the way they previously had for the prior 6, 8, 9, 12, 18, 24 months. However long they've been there at that point in time. And give the property an opportunity to reach that valuation. Okay? You have options.
Okay. Okay, so I have actually either I can, if they want to price, I could lower the price, or I could extend the contract. What if I wouldn't want to extend the contract for, so what would happen then? For example, I'm just trying to figure out all the options.
No, that's fine.
I don't think so, but what would happen? Can I sell it to somebody else?
I've never had.
I rent it out. What can I do?
Okay, let's back up for a second. if you can't sell it to them for the 320, you can't sell it to anybody for the 320 because nobody's going to qualify because no bank is going to finance it. Okay. So under no circumstance would it ever make sense that you would want to displace a paying buyer that's been there for 2 years, paying every single month on time, who's trying to qualify for financing, so that you could rent it to somebody else. There's no way that would make any type of sense. Okay. Because if the value's going down, the rental amounts don't go up. It doesn't work that way. So your options basically are drop the price, bring in cash, they bring in cash, or you extend the contract out.
Well, what are you saying I would bring the cash? Why would I bring the cash? If they supposed to?
I'm not suggesting that you do that. You're asking me for what can happen, what can you do?
Because like, why, if they supposed to buy it, why would I bring the cash for them?
Let's just move on beyond that, okay? You asked me for options. I'm just trying to give them to you. That's not a situation that you're obviously going to get into, so we're just wasting time.
Okay, so I guess that would be, the contract would be for them to stay in their home would be extended.
That's up to you. I can't tell you that's what you have to do.
But could extend it, but do I have to extend it or not?
Well, it depends on what clause we use in the contract. Why would you not want to? Do you want to sit there and go back to eating payments? You're going upside down on the house, even worse? I mean, why would you not want to?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and the monthly payments wouldn't be considered as a payment towards the down payment. It would be just separate payment, yes? So my amount would be still that minus the regular down payment, not minus whatever the amounts from the monthly payments, yes?
Correct.
Okay. Can I ask you something? What is the catch? Is there, where is the catch?
I can make the deal worse for you if it seems like it's too good to be true.
No, I'm just saying because I'm new at that, and I am just afraid to make my lifetime mistake, and
You already did that. You already did that. I'm trying to help you get out of it, okay? And you're fighting me every step of the way. I'm not trying to put you into a bad deal. You're already in a bad deal.
Figure out everything because I don't know. That's why I am asking you all these questions because you're very knowledgeable. You're very fast.
Sure.
You're quick, and for you it's like roll with the butter. And I'm like, I'm trying to attentively listen to what you're saying so I can grasp all the information.
That's fine. Let me explain to you how and why this was put together originally.
Yes, thank you.
Personally,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You kind of disappeared. So?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I personally, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. This entire program was put together to help me get rid of 2 houses I had in Atlanta, Georgia, that were sitting vacant while I was trying to sell them in 2006, and they were costing me $4,000 a month in mortgage payments on properties that I did not have anybody in. Okay, I was not living in. All right. So when I put the program together, I did not want to be a landlord.
Yeah.
I did not want to deal with tenants. I did not want to deal with tenants tearing my houses up. One of them was a $700,000 house. Okay? There was a custom build that I had faux painting and wine refrigerators and all kinds of crazy stuff, $26,000 worth of California closets and all that stuff. So I did not want tenants in there tearing the house apart and leaving in the middle of the night. Okay? But after eating payments for a year and throwing away $48,000 in interest payments to Bear Stearns and Wells Fargo, I finally looked at my wife and I'm like, we got to do something different. So that became the catalyst for this particular program. So what I did was I put together a purchase program designed strictly for people that wanted to purchase properties but didn't presently qualify for conventional financing. Since that time, based on the ever-increasing lending guidelines
Mhm.
that is now about 90% of the U.S. population.
Yes, yes. Mhm.
That's you. It's the buyers I have for the property. It's
Mhm.
me. I don't qualify. I don't want to qualify, but I don't qualify.
Mhm.
Okay? Most self-employed people don't. Right?
Mhm.
And so when I put everything together, it was put together to be a win-win for both parties. And basically the bottom line is this. If it's not a good deal for everybody, it's not a good deal. So you have to put together a good deal that makes sense for everybody. And this is a no-brainer deal for a seller because it's infinitely better than a rental agreement.
Mhm.
They get full debt service coverage. They get coverage of taxes, insurance, and HOA dues, and they get to offset all that maintenance and repair liability onto another buyer. Plus, they get coverage against, New Jersey coming out and raising your property taxes again, where you would then have to pay and go further in the hole if you had a rental scenario, because you can't just jack up the rent whenever you want to based on the taxes or the expenses associated with the house. But in this situation, a buyer doesn't have to. Or excuse me, a seller doesn't have to do that. A landlord doesn't have to do that because the buyer has to take care of all that stuff.
But they would send the payments to the township, or how would they look? How would that look like?
No, Anita, we already covered all this. Pay you, and then you pay people.
Yes, so I would be paying them. Yes, that's what I.
Right. All right. So the reason that the deal seems so good is because it is. Okay.
Mhm.
It is a good deal. That's why it seems so good. Now, does that mean that because it's a good deal, that somehow, miraculously, because of black magic, it turns into a bad deal? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It's just a deal that makes sense. Okay? It's a deal that makes sense for a buyer. They can't qualify and they don't want to be renters, so what other option do they have?
Mhm. What about if, for example, they say, okay, we want to move to another place. We can't qualify to get the loan over here. Maybe we can move another place. What would happen in that scenario?
We sue them for breach of contract and specific performance and garnish their wages at their employer, so you still get paid anyway.
I mean, after the 2 years, if they say, we don't want to buy it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is not an option, a lease option agreement that they're going to be executing with you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have an out. They're agreeing to purchase the property from day one.
Mm-hmm.
They're agreeing to refinance it within a specific time period.
Okay.
There is no, I just get to walk away. That's the whole point. That's why I have it set up that way.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want somebody doing that to me, and I certainly don't want somebody doing that to you. I wanted to sell.
Mm-hmm.
You want to sell. Okay?
Mm-hmm. So actually, you have the same contract for you. If that if people want to buy it later on, but right now they would. You have exact the same terms contract for your own people who want to buy.
That's what you're getting is my contract. You're getting the contract that was put together to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
So how good do you think that is?
Mm-hmm.
I had an attorney in Atlanta put it together so that it's a spring-loaded bear trap.
No, you know what I'm asking because they came to you, so I thought maybe you have a clause that it's gonna kind of support it for the buyers, not for the seller.
No, I'm not a realtor. Okay, I don't represent either party. I represent myself in the transaction, nobody else. Okay?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And let me explain to you how I protect myself.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have time for a nasty phone call from you 6 months from now because these people aren't paying. Okay?
No, if they don't pay, I have to take them to court because, just for the eviction, yes?
Well, yeah, right, but let's focus on what I'm saying for a second.
Okay.
I don't represent the buyer and I don't represent you, I represent myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so what I want is I want to get in this deal, I want to get the deal done, get everybody paid, get the people in the house, get everybody happy, and then I want to move on to the next deal, okay? Now, I don't want to hear about this deal again until you guys are at a closing table and you're getting a check.
Okay.
So what that means is I don't have time for nasty phone calls from you because they stopped paying you. So what do I do to prevent all that is we underwrite the files up front to make sure that situation doesn't happen because that's not good for Vincent. That's time wasted that I don't have if I have to get back involved and try to hold the whole thing together and ensure that you get paid sometime down the road, okay? So when you're talking about protections that are in place, the protections that you have in place are all the exact same protections I put in place for myself to ensure that I don't have to get back involved in this because that's not dollar productive for me.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm saying if, for example, they would default, I would take them to the eviction.
Correct.
And they would be evicted. And what would happen with the deposit, for example, or the 3 months rent?
What do you mean? What would happen to it?
Like, if I would evict them because they weren't able to pay, what would happen with the down payment?
It's forfeited.
It's forfeited. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they lose it. They don't get their money back because they don't pay. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, and what about that? You're saying they're gonna pay 3 months in advance. So
yeah.
So if they wouldn't be able to pay for the first month, that means that the 3 months that they would prepay would be able, they would come out from there, or what would happen?
I don't understand.
Can we put this 3 months down payment as a kind of security? For example, if they are, you told me that they're going to pay 3 months in advance. So if, for example, they're not going to pay next month, and they're going to say, "Oh, we're going to use this 3 months, right now," is that?
And they have that. Yeah, and they have that right. They can do that. They can do that. That's the purpose of them being 3 months ahead, is to give them a buffer in case something goes upside down. But we're not going to have that issue because of the cash reserves that they've got.
But they could use it. So in actuality, I could, okay.
That's what it's there for. That's exactly what it's there for. Okay. To make sure you don't have a missed payment.
Okay. Can this be put for the 3 months, the time period that they would be buying? Can we maybe, if they would buy, can we make this, can we make this time when they're going to buy? Instead of using it when they're not going to, be able to pay, can we use it only when they're going to be able to buy it?
No. It's a payment. It's a monthly payment. It's an interest payment. It's not a down payment. To protect you against the default.
Are they going to still pay the month and a half security?
No. They're getting homeowners insurance and putting down a down payment. There is no security deposit on a purchase. You get homeowners insurance, and you get indemnified against that because they list you as the mortgagee and the additional insured. So if they tear the property apart and take off in the middle of the night, we simply call up the insurance company, their insurance company, not yours, file a claim for vandalism, and the insurance company will stroke a check to the subcontractors to put the house back together. It covers way more than what a security deposit would.
Well, it depends how much they have deductible in this, a lot of things. But so you're saying they're not going to, so they're going to, okay, so they're going to be a buyer, actually. Or, so, but the deed's going to be transferred when the time of payment. But they're going to be actually, okay, so they're not going to be the tenant. They're going to be the buyer. If you're saying they're not going to have the month and a half deposit, security deposit, because this would be, okay, treated differently as a buyer. Okay. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. Okay,
like
so...
When you purchased your homes, you didn't put a security deposit down. You got homeowners insurance.
No. It's okay. I understand now. Okay. Okay. I have a headache. Okay, so how do we go about it right now? Can I, because I can,
just finish filling out the form, and let's coordinate a showing. Let's get them out there, and let's make some forward progress here. Okay. Right now, we're stalled.
Okay, and but What? Okay. If there will be.
Anita, stop. Let's move down this form and get this form filled out, okay?
Okay. What does it say in number?
Any legitimate questions we have, but we're going on all this pontification of 4,000 different scenarios that are never going to happen.
Okay, what does it say, number 4? What does it say? Exercise the option, Rhea. What does this mean?
Okay, in order for me to move forward and for you and I to have any type of binding contract that would bind you to a deal I did with a buyer, I have to exercise an option, okay? By the way the options work. So what that means is that I would, they go out to the house and they say they're ready to pull the trigger, then I would have to exercise the option with you at that point. Say, hey, we're exercising the option, take the property off the market, and then I get you a contract in cash. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, can you also send me the agreement that you have? Nope.
Nope. Well, I'll send you an agreement when we have a scenario where a buyer wants to proceed, and then you and I can rehash all 27 pages of that contract at that point in time, but we're not going to do that now. Right now we need to make some forward progress and determine if we have a buyer that's interested that is going to give you this cash that you want to get, and I cannot get there until we get past this document that you have in front of you. Okay, so here's where we're at, Anita, and don't take this the wrong way. If you want to move forward, let's go. Let's get this done right now. If you don't, I got to go. Okay, I don't have this kind of time to go through all these different scenarios of all this pontification to not make forward progress.
Okay, so quickly tell me, if I'm going to sign this and give it to you, what's going to happen next? The people's going to come, you're going to show them the place. If they're going to like it, you're going to, give me the contract, and would I be able to have any saying in the contract, or the contract is set and I have no saying? It's already predetermined. How that's going to look like?
Okay. What's going to happen is this as it relates to any additional clauses that you want in the contract. We have already defined the payment and the price. Okay? If there's some other protective feature that you want in a contract, which I can't fathom what you could possibly want that I don't already have in there, but let's assume that for the sake of argument that I don't have something covered that is important to you. We simply add it to the contract.
Okay, and I would be able to see that contract, of course, before, so I can bring it to my lawyer, for example, yes?
Or we just have your attorney prepare one. I'll use his contract. I don't have to use mine.
Okay. Okay, so I put my name, I put my email address. Okay, can I also print this so I can already show it to my lawyer?
Sure.
Printable or not?
Anita?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm already writing the information up, so.
Okay.
I have a slow computer. I have too many things in there.
That's okay.
Hold on. So by signing this agreement, I am only agreeing to that we're gonna execute this, we're gonna show it, and is there anything that I should know about it? That I can perceive, whatever, because I haven't even read this.
Yeah, as soon as you sign it, the boogeyman's going to come out of the closet and
I'm just
grab
saying,
you.
I've never done anything like that. I don't. I've never signed an agreement on the internet.
That's okay. I know. I understand. No, there's nothing else to know. I mean, listen, we get the people out there, they like it, then we move forward and we can have the conversation, with your real estate attorney, or let him prepare the documents based on whatever makes you comfortable, as long as it makes sense and it's what we agreed on. It's not rocket science, and it's not that complex, okay? You have to understand something. The only way that listen for a second. The only way that I make any money in this thing, and I can get paid, is if I'm handing you a check, okay? So I'm trying to get to that point where I can give you money, because without giving you money, I don't get the keys to the property, okay? So help me help you. Help me give you money. And the way to do that is to get through this document right now so I can get these people out there, and God willing, they like it and are acceptable with the terms that we've talked about here, which I don't think there's any reason why they wouldn't be, okay?
Okay.
But nothing bad is going to there's nothing that's bad that's going to happen, okay? At the very bottom of the document, you have the ability to cancel the agreement at any point in time. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to give you money.
Okay, what should I do? Options. Do I fill it up? What should I do there?
Which number are you on? Other option, or you sign?
Options. Non-exclusive option to lease option and sublet after the date. So what should I do over here? Enter your name here. Okay, I see it. Okay.
Your name. Yeah.
Okay, I see it. This, the printer didn't even print out. Okay. Okay, so the address of the property, yes? Proper address, okay. Okay. Trying to sign this.
Make sure under number 7 you do there's a drop down on line number 7, paragraph 7, that you have to select New Jersey.
Okay, 1 second. So, are they gonna? Did they tell you anything about the price? Are they going to give you a hard time, or what's happened?
The price generally doesn't ever become an issue on these transactions because they're not paying the price today. Generally, what most buyers are concerned about is the payment and their ability to get in with the terms of the down payment so they can get into the house. Okay. Price is really going to be determined, at the time that they, like we already talked about, at the time that they refinance based on the appraised value at that point. So if I can put 320, I can put 350. It doesn't make a difference because they can't overpay for the property. So they've got that sort of built-in protection in place, so to speak. So I don't get a lot of objections to pricing.
But if for example, the property wouldn't appraise for that time, would they, could they walk away or not? Okay,
Anita, have you finished the form yet?
Yes, I'm appraised value at the time of takeout of or refinance with the floor of. What should I put over there?
You want predetermined price of $320,000, the one above that.
Oh, okay.
So check the box.
Either or, okay.
Check the box. Yep.
Okay, and the monthly payment was $27.50?
correct.
Okay, what's the additional requirements?
Nothing. It's anything else that we would have to put in or that we knew about up front in advance. You don't have that. We've already covered all that stuff, so we don't have to worry about that. So we can skip that. And then just scroll down to number 7 and select New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, I signed it.
Okay. Once you submit that, I won't get it until you click they're going to send you an email to confirm that the person who put in their email address up top is actually the person that signed it. So you'll need to go into your email real quick, look for that email, and then click the link, and then I will receive it. I won't receive it
Okay,
until
one second. Okay, at the end of the form, I signed as an optioneer.
Okay.
1 second.
Uh-huh.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Yes.
I'm sorry,
I'm here.
I had to get the phone to my son because otherwise. Okay. Anyhow. Okay. So I signed over here. Received seller. You're gonna sign it. JV investor. It's gonna be you, I guess. So what should I do next?
Just put my name in there. Did you do the drop down for New Jersey on number 7?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Then once you're done, hit submit. If there's anything you didn't do or fill out, it will throw an error and tell you what it is, and you can fix it.
It doesn't let me. I don't know why. It's read them. Scroll to page. No. I don't know. I don't know what else. Salary, I'm gonna have to put my name, your name. Okay. Sorry. One second. Okay, yes. I still can. Who are you working with? Should I put who are you working with, or are you going to put it as JV investor?
Just put my name in there. Put Vincent. That's all you have to put.
Okay, so Vincent, that's all?
That's it. It's me.
Vincent,
I own the company, so I know.
Should I put your last name?
No, just that's me. You don't have to worry about it. Just that's enough.
Because I put my whole name. I put
that's
my.
Fine. Yeah, I'm not signing. Yeah, that's fine. That's not. I'm not a JV investor. I actually own the company, so I don't normally go through this process. I have other investors that do it. So.
Okay. You know what? I can still. Can you send it? Email me this form because for some reason I couldn't print it out.
Yeah. Okay. Listen to what I'm saying. As soon as you.
Okay, it's going to come to me. Okay, it's going to come to me.
It's going to email you a PDF that you can print out.
I haven't received it yet, but my computer is slow. I'm going to check the email.
Okay.
I have too much stuff in it. Change.
No worries.
So you came out on this so good that you're actually just doing this even for other people. And,
what do you mean?
You used to buy and rent it out and do the deals for yourself. Now you're actually doing the deals for others.
Doing the deals for others meaning you, or doing the deals for others meaning
for others like me, like other people.
Other sellers? Yeah, I do. We do these in all 50 states and several other countries.
Okay,
Eureka.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I sent out the confirmation and everything. No, I mean I'm first time and I just don't know, and I don't want to
You're fine.
Forgive me, but I really I've never done the deal on the internet, and I don't know you even. And you called me first time, and I'm just.
That's okay.
I have a family to raise, and by myself, so.
You're fine. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to pay you.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Okay, I see.
So I have it. So that means that it would have been sent to you as well. You should have a PDF copy.
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so at the last moment we just rehashed the contract, and the first come in, they see, they say whatever they like and they don't, and after that we rehash the contract and we sign it, and that's all.
You get paid. Yep, very simple.
Okay. But it doesn't say anything about the down payment. It doesn't say anything about the, just it says monthly payment, but it doesn't say, about all the stuff that we talked.
We should. Now that I think about it, we probably should have put that in the additional requirements, and we didn't do that. But I can amend it and send it back to you so you have it in writing.
Okay. So
that makes sense.
How? Where are they located? Are they in Somerset? They can just,
Yep.
come? Are you going to fly from Florida? How are you going to do that?
No, I'm going to fly from Florida.
Well, I don't know.
I assume we need to get you to get a hold of the tenants so we can find out when we can get them in. As soon as you can tell me days and times they can get in, then we'll confirm the showing.
Are they from the area? You said they live in Somerset, yes?
Anita, Somerset. Yes, they're in Somerset.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so are you going to come with them for the viewing?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, so no, I'm not.
Oh, so somebody else is going to come with them, or not?
No, nobody's. It's going to be them, and unless you want to show up, but I don't think there's any reason for that. All the tenant has to do is open the door and let them in.
So they just going to come by themselves, and that's all?
Yeah.
And we would sign the contract the way we did over here?
Yeah, I would actually I would do it through DocuSign, so it'll come through email. Oh, it wouldn't be on the internet like that. It'll be in an email that comes to you once we're ready, and at that point. But it's the same process. That's a little easier because all you have to do is click a button.
Okay.
All right, so if you can do me a favor, and let me give you my number, or if you maybe you have it in your phone. If not, let me make sure you have it.
Okay, Vincent. Can I have your last name?
Of course.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you the website address too, so you can see all the other properties I've got under contract as well. Okay. It's POLISI.
POLISI.
SI. Yes, Polisi.
Polisi. Oh, Italian.
That's Italian, right? Okay, and write this down because I want you to go take a look at this so you can see how legit everything is.
Okay. I hope
I know you've got concerns. Let me ask you a question. What can I do to you? I can't do anything to you. What am I going to do? That the agreement says you never pay me anything. So I mean, it's I pay you. You don't pay me. There's no way for you to get hurt. It's rent-to-own.it.
Well, they're gonna own the property. So that's the only thing. They can do whatever they want. Yes.
It's from a tax perspective. They don't get the deed yet. So rent-to-own.it. So just like the ownerfinance.it, go to rent-to-own.it. We don't do rent-to-own, but that's the term we use because what people understand. And then we have to explain to them that we do owner financing. But if you go into the listings on there, you can see other properties I have in New Jersey. You can see properties I have all over the United States. We've got one in Italy, another one in Mexico, and we're working on an attorney down in Puerto Rico right now to start generating properties there as well.
So you're buying the properties, or what do you do?
Well, we either option them, like we just did here, or we buy them on contract, or I do short sales sometimes. It all depends on what the scenario is and what somebody's trying to accomplish. So here, let me give you my number. I'm going to give you my email. I'm going to give you my email address as well.
Okay.
The number is 201 884
884
1001. And the email address is Vincent. Yep, 1001 1001.
Okay.
And the email address is Vincent, Vincent, at
VREIA.org.
Here, sorry, just it's V as in Vincent, R as in Romeo, E as in Echo, I as in India, A as in Alpha. It's VREIA. It stands for the Virtual Real Estate Investor Association. It's VREIA.org. Okay, Vincent@VREIA.org.
Yeah, if you could also send me email like hi, that's it. It would be easier. Why?
You want me to add you on Facebook? I'm going to add you on Facebook so you can see my picture and see how cute I am.
You have a wife. I'm not doing that stuff. I have already, somebody. I never, you have a wife. You should take care of your wife.
I'm kidding.
Even though you can be the cutest guy in the world, I would never do that to your wife.
I appreciate that. You have all my respect. What is your email address, Anita?
Anita, which okay?
Investor?
So you can laugh what you want. You had to start someplace too.
No, you're doing great.
Yes, you're laughing at me, and you're doing great.
I'm not laughing. I am laughing at you, but I feel like I got stuck in here.
You got Yeah. First time talking to you, and I'm already selling the property.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I will send you this. I'm going to send you. So you do real estate investment? Is that your primary source of income?
Well, I'm renting, so I'm in a horrible situation with my ex. So as soon as I can get him out of my back, I could maybe have a normal life.
Okay. All right. I'm going to send you a few links here. One will be to the Rent to Own It site so you can see all the properties and everything that we've got and how that whole thing functions. It's where the buyers get generated initially. And then I'm going to send you a link also to Virtual Real Estate Investor, which is the educational course and coaching platform. You can take a look at that so you can kind of understand.
Can I ask you, why did you include that amount about the appraisal? Would that what's that gonna mean, to them?
Why did I do what now? Oh, the thing on the air about the appraised value? That doesn't, unless you fill that out. Some people, I'll give you an example. Some people feel like the market is, it's going to continue to go up, and so they want to be able to participate.
I believe it's going to go up, but I don't believe I'm going to lose on it. So.
Okay. Well, if it's the appraised value with a floor, what that means is that the price becomes the appraised value at the time that they're qualified, and you put a floor in place, and the floor is a number that you don't go below, okay? And what that means is, let me give you an example in real numbers. So let's say you think the house is going to go up to $400,000, and you owe, I don't know, I forgot what you said you owed on it, but say $300.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't go up, the value drops to $250, but you're contracted with a floor of $300. You don't have to then bring $50,000 to the table to get closed out because you have the floor in place. Now, if the flip happens and it's worth $300,000 now, and by the time they're qualified it goes up to $400,000, then you scoop the extra $100,000 in equity.
And I get what? I'm sorry.
Appreciation, not equity, but it's something.
Okay, so if the value goes up, I can get up. But if the price value is lower, my price not going to get lower. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay.
And if you want to change it, you can go through and fill the form out again and select that option instead. It's fine. I don't care. As long as I've got one that I need right now, I have what I need to get the showing coordinated. So what I need you to do is I need you to figure the test when you can get people in there.
Excuse me?
I can get this. I need you to get with the tenants to determine
okay, so
when. Go ahead.
When would they like to come over? Are they time constrained? I can call them now and tell them that they can come over tomorrow, or.
Sure. Just if you want to do that, and just let me know what works for the tenants, and then I'll get with them. I will get with them and make sure that it's a time that works.
I mean, I would prefer also to be there so I can see, what they're saying.
That's totally fine. Listen, nobody's trying to conceal anything from you, okay? If you want to meet the people at the property, I don't have any issue with that whatsoever. You can go meet them, talk to them. We've got testimonials on the website, people you can call. I got their phone numbers and people who've done business with us. Okay? So you can meet them, you can talk to them, you can do whatever you want to do.
Vincent, I like you, but
can
you do something about the down payment a little bit?
Yeah, I can keep more of it and give you less.
Come on.
Anita, get me a time for the showing, please. Are you still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You had a good laugh?
I did, yeah. That was pretty good. That was funny of you.
Yeah, you're doing great deals because they're going to control the property. And with the, just work with me, Vincent, okay?
Well, work with me and let's get somebody that wants to pay money, okay? We have to get to that point first. We can't get there if you don't give me a showing time. Does that make sense?
Well, yes. I'm just saying, can you just get me a little bit more down payment? Come on.
I cannot promise you that, no. I can't. I cannot promise you that.
You're splitting 50-50, Vincent. And, I'm the one with the property. Come on, Vincent.
Anita.
At least 10 grand. Come on, Vincent.
I cannot keep doing this with you, okay? We already have a deal. We've already gone through all this for, 2.5 hours now?
I don't know. I missed my church, so...
I'm looking at it. It's 2 hours and 28 minutes.
Okay.
Okay?
So
I can't get you anything until I can get somebody else.
Come on, Vincent. You're just doing a few minutes here and a few minutes there. I'm the one with the home and everything. Come on. I know you have a good laugh.
Yes, I'm laughing on the inside. Crying on the outside, but laughing on the inside.
What a stupid person did you find, huh?
No.
Yeah.
Not stupid at all.
Yeah.
You're stupid at all. I think you're going.
For selling the home with $8,000 down payment, maybe I guess.
Anita, listen to me for a second. And then I got to go because I got other stuff I have to do here. But give me the showing time. I want you to go on the Rent to Own It website, and I want you to take a look at every one of those properties that's on there. I have contracts on every single one of them, and guess how much down payment I paid the sellers? 0.
What do you mean? You've never paid a down payment?
Never.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy.
So why did they agree to have a property under control and no down payment?
Because they're not crazy and they understood a good deal when it came across their desk. They get full price, full debt service coverage, absolution from maintenance and repair expense. They have all the protections in place in the contract. So if somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do, they get the continued amortization because of the interest-only payments. I mean, it's a no-brainer deal.
What do you mean on the, like amortization and interest-only payments?
We already covered this, Anita. Listen to me. All right, try to keep up.
I mean, that's going to be the $2,750, yes?
Okay, that's the interest-only payment. Okay, and then you make a payment on your mortgage that you said is a 10-year note.
Mm-hmm.
And you get amortization out of that, which means you get a principal balance reduction on your mortgage, which is profit for you every time you make one of those payments that's made by the buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's additional profit you're making that I don't make. So maybe I should start asking you for some of that.
You make a of course.
Well, it's not. Trust me. After what I just had to go through here, I don't know that it's worth it. But
of course, 8,000 in 2.5 hours. That's the best deal. So you're making 4,000 an hour. That's better than the lawyer.
Oh, well, of course it's better. I've been doing better than lawyers since I was in my 20s.
Right.
But anyway, Anyway, listen, I appreciate it very much. I don't want to. I would say I don't want to cut this short, but
it's okay.
there's no way possible based on
too.
2.5 hours. I appreciate it. If you would be so kind as to get me a time that you can meet the buyers out, I'd like to get them out there tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call them right now.
And the tenants are available. You can email me. You can call me back. You can do whatever. And then let's get to a point where we can talk about getting you paid.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay, makes sense.
All right, thank you. Listen, have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You too.
Okay,
take care.
Wow.
I like you, Vincent.
I got to go drink, man.
Oh,
I like you, Vincent.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That was awesome.
There it is. Oh, really? That's what you paid for, man. Right there. Live
Holy shit, Vincent. That was awesome.
in the flesh.
That was epic. I got my dollar.
I like you, Vincent.
Oh, my God.
Get some wine,
all right, Willie. Hey, Willie. Listen, Willie, since you're not on the outs of the other group, go get set up for your affiliate link and tell people what you just witnessed. Drop that bomb in there. Listen, man. You got to understand something. These people, they don't understand what reality is. Okay, and they listen to these clowns like Cody and right now today, and you got to do this and blah blah blah, all this stuff or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, come on, man. Now I only dropped the hammer on her after I, given her all the credence and patience in the world, and she's just playing games. Okay, but if I had not done, and Willie, you need to understand, they're not all like that. Okay. I assure you. Thank God. I wouldn't have any hair left if there were. But
I broke away from the cause.
Yeah. You have to close though, man. I mean, you got to close. You got to get to the point where you're professional. You handle the objections. You answer their questions. You make them feel comfortable. But when they start this other crap, it's just like, look, we got to, time to fish or cut bait. Let's go. If we're going to do this, let's do it. If not, I got to move on because I don't have this kind of time to invest if we're not going to get there. Okay? And that was, you heard a bazillion different objection handlings as we went through there. The silent close, the alternative choice close, the if I could, would you close? There's so many different closing techniques that were used in that. I probably need to go back through and tell everybody the minute markers of what close was used where and why. But anyway, I need a drink.
Hey,
and
Vincent,
hopefully we get the people out there tomorrow and they like it and we're moving on.
I need a drink right with you.
I'm telling you, man. All right, guys, I gotta like really go to the bathroom here, so I'm gonna take this off. I think you guys got your money's worth today, possibly for the rest of the year.
Hey, thanks, Vincent. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. You guys have a great night.
You too.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Virtual Real Estate Investor Podcast with Vincent Polisi. If you found any value in this podcast, please use our Give to Get method and take a moment to give us a 5-star rating in iTunes and your favorite podcast service so we can keep giving you excellent episodes of real content you can use to profit today.